again, and welcome to another episode of Stock Talk, or the Stock Circus. I am Mike, and with me I have...
Howdy, how's it going?
Good, and then you also have the old catch him on Twitter, fighting with, I believe this week you were fighting with some people from Poland, huh?
A couple.
They were talking about your beer. They don't know what kind of beer you drink. That's kind of strange, huh?
They told me they were witnessing the refugees coming across the border, and
Okay, guys, so we're talking about the 7.9% inflation, a 40-year high. That's a 1.4% increase. Economists are predicting that in April you could get to 8%. Of course, the alphabets, they're just, they're parroting back to thing. It's saying it's going to go down by the end of the year. Guys, this is simply an unmitigated disaster. What's going on, and they just passed another bill through. They just passed another bill today through Congress. This thing is a dumpster fire. It's bigger than a dumpster fire now. It's a forest fire putting napalm on it. It's this bad. So we got a little whiteboard here. I'll put it up for the listeners to look on there. You can check that out there. When Biden came into office with COVID and energy prices, because with turning off the spigots and things like that, with some statistics we had for percentages, used cars are up 41.2%. Gasoline is up 38% and climbing. Gas utilities are 23.8%. Meat, fish, and eggs are 15%. New cars are 12.4%. Electricity is 9%. And it just keeps on getting worse and worse. Guys, what's your take on what's happening here as far as what you're seeing? And then we're going to get some hot takes from some of the news there. It's not from the news, but from the powers that be. What do you guys have to say? You want to go first there, Rudy? Sure.
Well, the way they've been printing money since Biden's been in office, that couldn't have anything to do with it. And of course, on Inauguration Day when Putin attacked Ukraine, that's why the gas is going up since last January.
Yeah, and they've got that boogeyman. It's like it goes over and over again. Kage, what do you got to say on this?
I think that this is a cascade effect when you do something big and everything, and it affects everything else. That's what happens as far as these things exacerbate and they multiply and they become worse as time goes on.
This clown went upon television and he basically said that Americans don't understand. They're not knowledgeable. They're not knowledgeable when everybody knows when you have the printing presses going and going and going. And this doesn't all go back to him. We're going back further, but it goes back to the previous not Trump's, but the previous one before that. Trump did do a lot of spending. Let's not carry the cooler for him either, though. But this is constant. This goes back through the Bush years and everything, where they just keep the printing presses going. You have the 1% funneling the money to, and people are picking up on it now, and they're following more than they have before. And so the lies aren't sticking, as far as that. You only have probably 30% of people that are not paying attention to this, but more and more people are paying attention as they're spending money because it's hitting them in the pocketbook hardcore. You're getting people, as you see by you there, Rudy, where they're talking about higher rents and stuff in the city and things like that.
A cousin of yours, I believe, just went out and bought a car, and your uncle was telling me that, because of the price of the car, she was totally shocked, and he said, well, that's your president.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. Yeah, there you go. Have fun paying what you got to pay there. And if some people think that a lot you're doing clean things for clean energy and stuff like that, but the batteries, when they break down in the dump, and it's not as clean as you think it is, especially with the mining and getting it to mine and things like that. There's a little more than that, and so and as far as the mining for it, when they go to mine, what the laborers go through and the pain, suffering, and agony that they go through, because a lot of this stuff is done in other countries where let's just say it's not done by OSHA standards, if you want to say that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I'm getting 100 gallons gallons of oil tomorrow. I'm going to be paying almost $600 for that.
It's insanity there. You also had an exchange yesterday with we were going to do this show yesterday, but we didn't just because of situations, some things that came up that we had to do. But it looks like Biden and Psaki got into an exchange, and some of you heard this. But we're going to play that exchange for you here real quick. We're going to crank up the volume, and I just want to get your guys' take on what you think. Yeah, so it was Ducey and Psaki. We're going to get your take and see what you guys what your guys' take is on this as far as this goes.
So to that point, inflation goes up today. The president's statement blames the Putin price hike. Are you guys just going to start blaming Putin for everything until the midterms?
Well, we've seen the price of gas go up at least 75 cents since President Putin lined up troops on the border of Ukraine.
And last month, the statement didn't mention the Putin price hike. It mentioned inflation because of the pandemic. Why is that?
Well, Peter, last 2 years, there was a global
This
pandemic.
Courtesy of C-SPAN, by the way.
Whose global economists have all agreed that has been the biggest contributor to date of inflation because of the impact on the supply chain. Obviously, global events impact the global economy, as well as global inflation. And the price hikes
I've had enough of peppermint patty.
Well, Biden turned around today, I believe it was, and said, "Oh, the Keystone Pipeline wouldn't have been ready for 2 years anyways. Come on, man, give me a break." Yeah, well, we were energy independent then, and we actually. We know you can keep on dancing around things that people are still not 65% to 70% of people in this country are not going to be fooled. They know what it was. They know that businesses are passing along that cost to them because they're not going to eat it. Businesses never eat it. They pass the cost on along to them to the consumer, and the consumer is the one that suffers all the time. That's how it works. You know? That's right. Just like me, I got to get oil tomorrow. If I'm a business and I got to pay $600 for oil when normally it's $220, well, I ain't paying for it.
No, exactly. Yeah. So, Kage, what do you have to say?
It's just a whole mess of things that were just inaccurate. What Psaki said.
I think she should take that job at CNN.
But the thing is, the lockdowns and everything didn't need to happen.
No.
You could have just had people wash their hands and wear a mask for about a week or something, and just being careful and not necessarily coughing into your hands and not going to work when you're feeling sick and everything, and just healing up the natural way, and everything would have been fine.
And the other thing, too, is, guys, with these gas prices, and you might say, oh, what does this have to do with stocks? If you go and look and go back to where we were a year ago, you're looking all at the top stocks right now, guys, even on the pump and dump list. They're all mining stocks. I wonder why. Is there a certain way why they're like that? They're that way because everybody's gravitating towards commodities and natural resources and things like that because of what's happening, and everybody knows what's coming down the pike. We know we're going towards a recession, and even some economists now are saying you're going to hit depression mode if this isn't turned around. But what did they do? They gave themselves a 21% raise last night in the dark of night?
This dumb bill and everything that they tried to pass through before.
2,700 pages. And some people did not know what they signed, but I'm sure they learned the part where they're getting a raise for 21%. Good.
They didn't learn from the Affordable Care Act.
No, and I'm sure there's other surprises and everything like that in there. So
yeah, they just rushed it through like the 1913 bill that made the Federal Reserve print America's money, basically.
So some economists now say that we're heading toward we're right now in the period of the 90s. This is the 90s around Bush's dad. Okay, so you're right. You're the older Bush. You're headed towards the recession period. Then next comes obviously more depression and things like that. And so people have illusions of grandeur that Republicans will do stuff too, but the only thing I see is just massive investigations and things like that because people are pissed. And do I see?
Yeah, but who's doing the investigations?
Well, the Republicans are going to be doing investigations, and then you're going to have. I see Biden just freaking doing executive orders like Obama did when the Republicans had Congress and nothing gets done. Because now you have a party, like when Clinton was in office, he would go across the aisle to Newt Gingrich and they would work together. You don't have you hardly have any bipartisanship at all unless there's something on the take. If there's a bill on the take where both parties are taken and it has nothing to do with the American people, they're all into bipartisanship all the time. So
unfortunately, your liberals and a majority of your Republican rhinos, they are, they're all connected to China in some form or fashion. And
go read Klaus Schwab's book about that.
States anymore, or us.
Yeah, no, it's. Ron Paul once said that Washington is occupied territory, and he wasn't reaching far on that. He was absolutely correct.
No, and we're a corporation, we're not even a country.
Yeah, you're a country controlled by corporations. So going forward with this, we're gonna see how this plays out. We'll touch on this one again probably when we hit. What do you say? Probably 8%. What are you guys calling? 8.5, or are you just going to say 8? This thing ain't dropping lower, guys.
I'm thinking it's going to go up to 10.
I would say it's going to be based on how fast this happens with Ukraine, how long that lasts.
Yeah.
If this is done within a month or so, it might stay around 8. But if it keeps going a little bit, then it's gonna keep going up.
Yeah.
And again, like I was saying earlier, with you guys, I saw that we only get about 8% of our oil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Russia. So
yeah, that's why and this was called.
Much more for 8%. Come on.
Yeah, it's not, and I'm sure you'll get the fake checkers on everything, and they've called out the marching orders on the fake checkers. They put fictitious numbers already out there, which some people possibly will come back here and say, well, look they put these numbers out. Guys, numbers can be fudged with all the time to try to scoot your own narrative for both sides of the aisle, for both parties. When we had that conference today in the UN and everything like that, I watched part of it and I didn't even watch I hardly watched any of it anymore because nobody knows what to believe anything. And we're not going to go into that topic or whatever, but what I'm saying is, in a whole as this, nobody knows what to believe anymore as far as numbers, some of the numbers that they're putting out. Both sides, even all around the world, because people have been lied to. That's the sentiment on social media is, and you go ask Joe Q Public, everybody knows is that, hey, I'm feeling this in the wallet, and I don't know what to believe on anymore when these people put out numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I saw today something about the White House.
Oh, you shouldn't call it the. You shouldn't call it the. Rudy, you shouldn't call it. You shouldn't call it the White House here. You should call it the outhouse.
That's true. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. Make sure you call it the outhouse, not the White House. Okay, Gage, going on to stock twits again, because that's where the real traders are at. What else do you have there on the twits? From you have any hot takes or do you have any bears on this or no?
I haven't seen bears, but it's mostly people who are wanting to short this for temporary gains, I think.
Okay.
I think that's their game plan with this stock where it's at right now.
Currently for through the whole week, that was the actual game plan. But going forward with this, I do agree with one of your one of the last traders that you had saying that you're going to the more money they keep on printing, especially with this dumpster fire bill that they fired off last night, you're going to see gold keep on going up, and I'm sure like we had before, like we were talking about with inflation. Go ahead, Rudy.
1.5 trillion, right?
Yeah, and don't, like I said to. We have the G here. He's back in there. Congress got a 21% raise in there with that as well. There, G.
Oh man. Mm-hmm. Of course.
It's 27,000 pages. None of them read the whole thing, but we'll see what else is in there. Just keep on coming out. I'm sure there's a bunch of goodie bags in there for them. And I did hear some of it. There's It's one of the first earmarked bills, and like so it's loaded with pork in there too as well. So we'll keep you updated if there's anything that pops up that's just complete trash while we're doing the show too. Because
insider trading, right?
You can if you're with them, you're above the law. You can do whatever you want, man. So it's the little guy that you got that takes the hit, you know. So there ain't no justice anymore. Hycroft Mining average session. This is from Bazinga, according to the data from Bazinga Pro. Trading volume was already exceeded 171 million at publication time. Gold is viewed as an inflationary hedge and is traded higher in rising inflation concerns and ongoing Russian and Ukraine conflict. The United States Tuesday confirmed a ban on Russian oil imports. Commodity supply constraints contributed to the surge in metal prices. So you're seeing this gravitation towards all these metal stocks, guys. One thing I'd like to point out to the listeners is that you need to see how much they are producing. If you see that they're producing little, that is a sign. Or if they're out of a mobile home, nothing against mobile homes, but if you're running a business and the guy's his office is the mobile home, then you have a problem as far as that you're probably caught in a pump and dump. So just something to share because that has happened out there. Do you guys have anything to add before Kage goes back on the twits as far when I'm looking through some of these other news articles we have here?
I don't think so.
No, nothing as far as would you say that is there anything concerning that you would say out of the mining areas? That place is pretty awesome as far as what the description of the mine was. Okay, guys, going on to stock twits because that's where the real traders are at again. What else do you have there on the twits, Kage? I got some more comments there.
Here's a comment from Profit is Profit, and he's got HYMC bullish. He says, might see continued interest in mining next week or a resurgence of oil stocks depending on commodity prices.
Oh, you're going to always see oil stocks surging, man. That's just, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
He continues and he says, great 2 weeks of profit making in the bag here. Hope you all stayed profitable and banked some hard dollars. Good luck and have fun over the weekend. Back at the grind Monday morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Yeah, it'll be back again there. I've got Hycroft Mining. The stock galloped. They said 203% during the trading session on Tuesday, March 8th. So and then the promotion list went out. So people got the emails and things like that, and you started seeing these promotions. Going back through there, like we said, they're out of Winnemucca, Nevada. And they do produce gold and silver. This article is from Calkine Media, and they just write, this is some of the numbers we found out here. Is a preliminary operating results for 2021 said it produced 55,688 ounces of gold for the year, surpassing its high guidance range due to the improved equipment, process, controls, and costs. So obviously they have decent operating costs. Is that a plus on your guys' end?
Yeah, if their operating costs are reasonable and everything, then yeah.
And debt to income ratio there looks pretty decent considering. What do you guys have to add on this one so far?
Just watch your buy point, and if you want to get in for a long haul, just understand the company that you're getting involved with, and know exactly where your profit point will be, and just stick to it, your plan.
Okay. We've also seen throughout Calkine Media also notices, and some of this is Captain Obvious, guys, that precious metals along with other commodities like nickel, wheat, oil are seeing price surges as investors worldwide seem to take refuge in safe havens to hedge against the ongoing fluctuations of fake inflation, right? Because that's according to the outhouse, that's what is going on, is it's all made up and everybody just needs to have a margarita, apparently, you know?
Yeah.
It only works for a little while, I'm afraid. The margarita is nice, but it's not going to last.
Yeah.
Did you see Rashida Tlaib said just, yesterday or today? That it's all big corporation creating the inflation.
Yeah, they're passing off onto the consumer because of piss poor policies of politicians.
It's not much for its big corp.
yeah. It's
like nobody knows what the other one's saying.
Yeah, I'm sure she got her cut too for saying that. They all talk a big talk, but then when it comes down to it, they find they get a piece of the pie somewhere. So none can be trusted. Only a fool would believe such rubbish. What do you got there, Gio? What do you have on?
From New York for the most times.
What's that?
I used to want the stupidest one in New York, the one that does the most talking.
Yeah, at least she's got a. At least some people can tolerate her on social media because she is one of the better the jokes out there. So.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. What do you got there, G, on this one so far? Is this what does this sound like to you so far?
I came in late, man. I don't have any opinion on it.
No, just for me, obviously it's on the pump and dump list. I am going to say watch and see what happens next week with it, because this week was it's going to be interesting to see what Monday and Tuesday is. I'm sure you might see some other people that didn't know what they were doing. They bag holded and they possibly would get out. But this one would be a watch for me. That's about it. What about and the production looks good and everything, but it's one of the better ones considering some of the ones we saw on the list. But like I said, you have to watch as far as the production levels and where they're mined at and things like that. Some might have competitive advantages over the others because depending on where they're located, labor situations, things like that. We'll just leave it at that with all the fake checkers out there and anti-monetization people. What do you have there, Kage? Are you saying with the sentiment of the trader, the retail traders, because we don't care what the big dogs say? What do you say? What do you think on this? Is this a hold, pass, or what?
I think this is a hold. I think for the most part, this is a stock that you can definitely swing if you want.
Yeah, and we see a lot of people swinging on this all the time here. It looks like.
But yeah, it just depends on what your strategy is and how you want to stick to it.
Rudy, would you say that this is a complete pass for you? Would you say it's a watch or extreme watch for you, or you're just passing?
With the way things are going right now, I would probably say an extreme watch right now.
Yeah, gold is just you called that one too as well. Crypto's not bad either, but yeah, the only one you want to watch out for, I don't know if we covered this before a long time ago, Rudy, is the digital is the highly manipulated one. So anything digital, silver, gold is manipulated. Obviously,
look what happened with GoFundMe with Canada.
Yeah.
I mean, they were ready to keep that money, and of course everybody squawked. So I think they returned it finally.
So the thing is, before you go run to gold, just remember that the digitized part is highly, and silver, any of those types are highly manipulated. So if you're going to get anything, if you are going to get some gold and you can do it, probably should buy the physical or look into some other options of getting it that way besides, because you gotta watch where the investment firms, things like that, where you go. So we don't recommend any because we have some we could recommend, but we're not getting any cuts off of it. So why do I got to recommend it? Right?
Right now they've been doing a lot of pushing of silver on TV because it's used everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, guys, the next stock we have is HPNN. HPNN. This is from a listener. He wanted us to cover this again, guys, and wanted our analysis on it. Last tick was 0.0033. He was asking, as far as from the expert panel here, if we thought that this thing could get to 50 cents, and I'll throw out some hypotheticals and we'll see what happens. I don't know, but going to the year-to-date chart, this tech stock, the chart doesn't look too bad considering all the hell we've been through the last year. Obviously, you have your Q card bounce from the beginning, and then it's just, like I said, it stays a little healthier than some of the other stocks that we have there that just completely took in a dive bomb. Going into what would you say they do here? They engage in the development and manufacturing of electronics, distributed software, and telecommunications services. It focuses on a high-volume, low-cost wholesale distribution, technology licensing, white-label solutions, development of ancillary revenue streams and markets. Its products include Hop-on Android smartphone watches, Hop-on Android gaming console, Hop-on new game consoles, and the company was founded by Peter D. Michaels, April 16th, 1993, and is headquartered in Temecula, California. Going on to stock twits, because that's where the real traders are at. Kage, what do you got on the twits there?
I'm seeing mostly bulls for this stock. I don't understand why they're so happy about the stock being at the price point that it is and whatnot, but I'll play along, I guess.
Well, you could just give the sentiment of what the real traders are saying as far as the retail traders, because they are the real traders, not some of these guys that have inside baseball that think they're awesome. And then yeah, so go ahead.
Here's the take from Have to Buy It, and he's got a couple of Twitter links.
Okay, so Kage, you got one here on the twits from Laymaster, is it?
Yes, he's actually got 4 stocks along with HPNN for his take. He says, all long-term holds of ours. We consider all these opportunities now and in the future. Check out the trading results today, way up over 2%, while the market was down over 2 to 3%. And he's got a little graph or chart that explains it for where his price point is.
Okay, and then what else do you have there?
How about this one from Shaka Boom? He says, HPNN bullish. Who noticed these 4 being pushed down? Who is pushing down? Short people ain't got nobody to love. Let's push it back up. Let's send a message to CDEL, these little pricks. CDEL. He's got a picture of 2 guys flipping the bird at each other.
Believe he's referring to Citadel, guys. So, yeah, that's a little Army of Apes talk right there as far as giving those guys the bird. Not a fan of those guys for sure. What else do you got there on the twits?
How about this one from Cool Eco? He says, imminent breakouts, 3 out of 3. Going to keep this one short and sweet. The market ended hot yesterday with buy signals across 15 plus stocks. These stocks are all similar in their lower time frame charts, 15 to 30M, consolidated across the last sell signals and are either forming or teasing a foundation of a buy signal, indicating potential for a good open. These trends are also supported by buy signals in the upper time frames. I selected these from the 15 because their recent volatility sparked optimism that the leg up would be greater. This is mere speculation and an idea for future backtesting. Tomorrow will be a good trading day for a lot of people.
Did you see that Lane Esther had another take on here at the beginning of the morning where he said whatever happened to hold as it's totally in the blood red? It was completely blood red this morning, so I think people were parroting off of the reason why you saw people went with the Alphabet News. Global Newswire had a plug for this one. It says it seems the new social media apps are launching every day to micro audiences to start tracking. This one Digital Edge for consumers. The app and platform appeals to power users and casual users, and something for everyone. Consumers will find their favorite music, podcasts, creators, influencers, news, entertainment, all in one free environment. A one-stop shop for creators to create, amplify, monetize their content, and even when you're not in the top 2%. So, Kage, what else do you have there on the twits as far as this article's getting into the meat of it and getting down to the bone, and we're seeing a little more what's going on, but go ahead on the twits there.
How about this one from Eastern Wings? He says, HPNN. Peter amazes me. After all these years and all the things he has done, this guy's still kicking. Don't know how many rabbits still in his hat. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a heavy hitter coming in. He's got a lot of accomplishments. That's something to watch there as far as with what he does. Guys, you can come in hot or cold or whatever. You come in with a hot take, whatever you want to do. Do you guys see a little hype machine going on here as far as that you guys still think that some of these can't compete with the big dogs as far as your Google machine and things like that? Or what do you guys think so far?
3 competitors.
Hmm?
Nobody can compete with 3
gargle.
No, yeah. And usually what happens there, G, because you're an expert at this, what usually happens in the field when there's a competition with gargle?
That soon after there is no more competition.
Mm-hmm. Because they just gobble them up and eat them like chicken liver dinner, and that's it. So.
Yeah, when you rely on your competitor to allow you to market your competing product, well, I think you can see there's a bit of a conflict of interest there.
Now you guys are going to see that as far. What's that?
After Google.
Mm-hmm. And then so some of you are going to come in hot and you're going to say, well, what about Rumble? Rumble, the reason why Rumble is so successful is that the gravitation that I've discussed over months and months and months to some of you that didn't know about that movement of you're seeing this gravitation of getting away and getting off into a different type of platform away from the fake checkers and your other social media platforms. And so you're seeing conservative dollars go towards that. Whether I don't know where this guy stands in that, but that's where I'm seeing the free speech and liberty type of platforms is where they're most going to succeed because those dollars are going to go towards that, and libertarian people and freedom movement are going to move towards that. So if this guy has any type of censorship with his with his article with his company, that's going to be. I'm not saying that he does, but if he goes the route of Facebook and some of your other companies, then I don't see this going further than your Rumbles, your Truth Socials. And that's not to say I'm a cooler carrier for conservatives, because I'm not that way. I'm actually independent and free, like I told you guys that. But I've done enough blabbing. What do you guys got to say about what I just said?
Yeah, the free market needs to be free in order to do what it's going to do for the people involved.
Mm-hmm.
Just the idea that it can be manipulated and everything, and just not necessarily work for the interest or act naturally, that concerns me. Yeah,
and some of the biggest heavy hitters that we've seen on our end that has had a ton of success is, like I said, the Rumble, the Gab, the Getter, Truth, and there's a bunch of other ones that I can't even think of coming to my head on the middle side that's not even on a political spectrum. But it seems like as they get bigger, they get gobbled up. I don't see, because of censorship, I don't see Rumble getting gobbled up, getting off the subject of this stock. So when that gets to the Rumble territory, then we'll see what happens. G, do you have anything to add on this before I go more into this article?
No, I think that covers it.
Okay. So conceived as journalist and news platform and digital rights management, once the Facebook whistleblowers exposed serious flaws with social media, DigitalEdge developed a relevant alternative platform strategy tapped at with the dissatisfaction of the exodus. So there you go. Like you said there, Kage, Peter is hitting on that exodus and capitalizing on that. He's trying to do what your other social media platforms is and get those people in that want that libertarian type attitude into the platform. Based on reinventing the business model, empowering creators, and supporting the free speech. Unique features at launch will include text-to-speech with an emphasis on innovation in the world's first ADA-compliant social platform. Social sound tracks, adding music to your posts from licensed library of 30 million songs with sync music rights. Huge libraries of music for creators with ease of use producing their work, and portability of content, being able to export all of your content from your other social media channels and drop it into DigitalEdge to reorganize the store and amplify it. That's actually a pretty good thing, because sometimes when you go to your other ones, you have to go back and basically sometimes start over. What do you have there else on the twits there, Kage, what you've seen?
How about this one from Big C Financial? He says, HPNN from fourth quarter. News partner, additional license agreements, $1.6 million into the DigitalEdge.com. would expect to see news come out faster now, including recent funding agreements.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a link to a article that he found.
So he brought his receipts, and what he posted there is what he did.
It's from the Wall Street Journal, looks like.
That's 50-50 to me, because that's some of the stuff they still carry the cooler for the Uniparty there. So I take everything with them with a grain of salt. I know someone think that the Wall Street Journal is Bible, but it is what it is. So CEO Peter Michael states to facilitate more seamless migration and cross-pollination from the other entrenched platforms, much effort has been invested into architecture, user experience, feature-level parity to enable data portability with the Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, Telegram, Reddit, Facebook, and so on and so on. I'm not going to name all the platforms, but it said it'll all be intertwined there at that time of launch. I think that's one thing that they have, going good for them. There is that option there. What do you guys have to add?
I'll say, since I've been doing this with you guys, I've been pretty affirmative with most of the stuff. But with this here, it'd be really nice to see the little guy be able to get through the minefields and stuff. But look what happened with Paula. They got
yeah.
Nobody could buy him out, so AT&T just shuts them down.
Rudy, that's a decent take right there, because that's. I'm glad you brought that up, because if some of these companies, they're promising that they're going to do this, look, and G's got a background in this as well. Look where your servers are, who's hosting these companies and things like that, because if it goes down like Parler, you're freaking. That was one of the biggest mistakes with Parler. What it had is that it was you thought that it was free, and then all of a sudden a left-leaning organization owned them and shut them down in a heartbeat.
They all are. There's only 3 to choose from.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Did they have to regulate their ways, to get back on, or did they stay the same? From last I heard, they were trying to put it together again, and I think it just, I don't know what they did with it, because it just I heard they got back up and running a couple months later, but I just didn't get back on, because I can never remember my passwords and stuff, so I just let it go.
G, what were you saying?
Still on the phone, I just don't use it.
G, what were you saying?
I can't remember if they moved platforms or what, but I doubt that there was any legislation or anything to.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. Who was it? Which platform?
So Amazon was hosting them, and people said that they coordinated with the Capitol, because people were coordinating on there for and I'm sure they probably did, where they were communicating, but people were communicating on Facebook and Twitter and all those accounts too, and so it's just the whole thing was stupid in itself. It was just dumb. So people,
ridiculous.
Yeah, it was this whole thing, kabuki theater, type of thing, and it's just, yeah. So it looks like Digital's business model is to share revenue with publishers, influencers, contributors, artists, creators, publishers not fairly compensated for their time and investment. Original content utilizing W3 in decentralized creative economy built on ownership culture 2021. The ownership economy is giving everyone ownership of the value of what they create. Digital will use proprietary blockchain DRM fingerprinting across the distribution of all licensed music, whether licensed, created, or redistributed to other social media platforms. This empowers creators label to be further alike to monetize and track content. Influencers can secure their content that was previously posted to protect it from abuse from big tech, and will stop freebooting or concealing content and rebroadcasting of older content. So you can see that they're trying to do their best to maybe you'll see some other, depending on how many heavy hitters come into this, you could that's what's going to be the key to look out. So if you're holding this, that's what you're going to want to look out for, is you're going to want to see what heavy hitter money, and pay attention to that, what's coming into it, because that, and ads and things like that, because that's what is going to keep things moving. What do you guys what do you guys have out here?
I think you nailed it, really. I I don't really have much really add.
Okay, the article goes on and says a recent flurry of activity shows acceleration in the market. Digilage has opened an office in Santa Fe, New Mexico, following the wave of tech and entertainment migration there. Digilage will tap into the next wave of creative talent that's leaving the coast and looking for what's next of Netflix, Intel, and as far as with all these guys, there is a mass exodus of leaving these people because it's like a big caviar club, and nobody's liking the censorship things and things like that. They've gone too far as censoring, and people are just getting tired of it, and so they're leaving the big dogs, and you're seeing even in the ratings as far as with news and entertainment, it's been a complete belly flop. So it's a belly flop dumpster fire. So going forward with this one, guys, looking at it, there is promise there. I just want to see more. Is it possible that this could go for the listener? Is it possible that this could go to 50 cents? Yes, but with this bear market and things like that, I just want to see how things play out. I just say I put it on a watch for now still. What about you guys? Who wants to go next?
I myself, I'll pass.
You'll pass too? Okay. What about you, Kage?
I just say give this one a watch.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't necessarily get into it just yet. Just from what I've seen with the graph and with the people talking about it.
Yeah, it's a decent chart. It's just the problem is that, that we got a bear market here and things like that. I just want to say what other heavy hitter people come into this. Hog, what have you, since some of the stuff that we've gone into, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, same thing. Keep an eye on it. We'll see what kind of competition.
Yeah, I mean,
shows up and what
we
snap early on to sort of.
Yeah, because we saw with the players that came into your other conservative sites. It's going to be interesting to see what players come into this one. If we get some big people that come into it, artists and things like that, and as the news goes out through the year, this is not me mocking guys of who's coming into it. I'm just saying let's see what the news brings because that's going to control.
It's great, though.
Yeah.
It's great.
Mm-hmm.
To see it.
Yeah. So
exactly. It's a minefield, like I said out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of challenge.
Yeah, we need to see more news as far as to move the needle before before making even to put it above watch. But it's a decent look still. It's a decent play. It's just I want to see more info on it. So, do you guys got anything to add, or you guys outro?